Hi, George Hussey, Dr. 914 here again. Today I'm going to give you a little tour of a 76 2-liter engine compartment. This happens to be our home hobbyist project that you may have seen on our Facebook page and around on 914club.com. So it's not a perfect car yet. Everything is in its proper place. So I'm going to start over here with a relay board. As you can see, again, this is 76 2-liter. Here's the relay board with the 3 relays, the rear one being the heater defroster, the one in front of it being the fuel pump relay, the one here being the main power relay, and finally, if it had a rear window defroster, the relay would go here. 2 fuses, rear window defroster plug-in, rear window defroster, or for automatic, sportomatic transmission power, and fuel pump and heater blower power. Often if your fuel pump fails, all it is a loose fuse here, so that's important to check. It is a 25 amp. Voltage regulator, obviously we're not finished with this yet. 2 screws go in here, plug in from the alternator, and plug in for the control unit. Heater blower motor, dual outlet came in late 75, 76 only, although we do sell this branch if you want to get additional blow on the other side. J-pipe coming up from the heat exchanger to go to the blower here. Intake runners for the 2-liter, throttle switch, air temperature switch, throttle body obviously with idle adjustment right here, auxiliary air valve, and these are problematic now because they rust inside and then the door doesn't open as easily. They can be lubricated with WD-40. Check the oil here. The collector for the engine head breather. This is not standard on a 2-liter, but this car has had earlier model heads put on it, so we are collecting the vapor and putting it into the air cleaner. Pressure sensor connection right there. Over here, the cold start valve, the large breather for the oil filler and the engine. The 75, 76s, 2 liters had the larger breather. The vacuum advance, and this one has actually a vacuum advance connection on the port here. 76 California emission cars, believe it or not, had the vacuum port, but it was connected into the EGR system. So without that EGR system, and you can see where the air pump would mount as part of the EGR system, without that we're connecting the vacuum advance for a little faster acceleration. Coil, obviously, Bosch blue coil. Originally they came with black. Condenser lead coming down here. The trigger points lead to fire the injectors. This is something people always look at. We have the beige wire from the ignition harness going into the red wire for the auxiliary air valve. That is sort of strange that the wire color would change, but it does, so you want to keep that in mind when you're plugging that thing in. Green with red oil pressure sending unit. There's a boot down in here. We make this part also. People never put it in, it deteriorates, and then they have the hot engine air coming in back into the fan to cool an already hot engine. The ground leads, which are also problematic down at the back of the block. Very important to have these firmly connected, or you could have anything from an injector not firing to a skip at higher RPMs and you can't figure out where it's coming from. The air pressure sensor, this is obviously not hooked up yet, and the hose for this goes right here, like we'd said previously. This senses engine vacuum and changes the resistance to the control unit to enrich or lean the mixture. When the diaphragm in this breaks, it runs rich all the time, especially at idle. You can see this device over here. This is actually overrun California emissions only overrun relay, which really doesn't do anything now. This is the catheter coming from the gas tank for the vapors that will go into the charcoal canister, which is mounted right here. The control unit right here, and everybody seems to have a rusted battery. They put a new battery tray in it. As you can see, we've done that, and then they've got no place to mount the control unit. Well, this is what fits there to mount the control unit. Porsche discontinued these. They all rust away. We had no used ones, so we had this part made. among many, many other rust repair parts we make. So that will be painted black and bolted in there. These are the drain tubes for the engine drain lid, which collects the water when it rains and drains it out of the car. And we are going to put a decel valve on top of this. We don't have that. That lets the idle down more slowly. So that's about it. Just a quick tour of the engine bay on a 1976 914 2-liter.